When first learning about any subject on earth, you need to have a very good idea of what you want to accomplish with that subject. Do you want to be effective or do you want to be unique? Why are people so impressed when a white guy speaks Mandarin Chinese? Probably because he has no business speaking Mandarin Chinese. He lives in Europe. His residence is literally in Romania. Learn Hungarian or something if you want a hard language. Why would you learn a language that is spoken thousands of kilometers away? Because it's more spoken than Hungarian, even though Romania has 6% of its population as ethnic Hungarians. Stupid, right? But it's impressive because it is stupid, because it has no business actually being. Are people really impressed when a white guy speaks French, German, Russian, or even English? Especially English? No, because of course he's going to learn those four languages as an European. Even as an American, those are the languages you need to study. Let's add Spanish to the list. But of course, you're going to be studying those five languages. Those are the languages of a white man. You have no business speaking Chinese, Hindi, Indonesian, no business. Yes, it's rare, yes, it's interesting, but you have no business speaking those languages. That's why it's impressive if you actually do. Same thing applies for Asian people. If a Chinese man speaks French or Czech, Slovak, whatever you want to call it, of course that's impressive because he has absolutely no business learning these niche, even though French is not a niche European language, but these niche European languages. Besides English, he shouldn't be learning any of them because he has no business going to Europe or whatever other European language speaking countries as someone who lives in literally in Shanghai. So you need to choose. Do you want to learn the things that are actually practical to learn, that are effective, but that won't really impress people? Or do you want to be a little bit more quirky? Do you want to learn French as a Chinese man? Do you want to learn Chinese Mandarin or Cantonese as a Romanian? Which path are you going to go on? Because both of them are extremely, in my opinion, extremely practical at the end of the day, even though one is clearly more practical than the other, but the results are completely different. Yeah, okay, you live in Europe, and speak German. German is probably the most relevant, if not that, then French, language in Europe. Even though Russian is the most spoken, but you know why German and French are more useful at the current moment. Even though learn Russian, it's a beautiful language. I need to learn it in the future. Whatever. Yeah, of course, nobody is going to be impressed if you learn German as a white man, but the benefits you will actually get from learning German or French are going to be infinitely more visible than learning Chinese. But those select few moments when you need to actually help a Chinese tourist, you'll actually feel like you're the most intelligent person on earth. Of course, you can also take difficulty as a criteria in this list of things that you need to take in mind if you want to learn Chinese or German, because of course Chinese is going to be harder than German, but you're going to feel infinitely more rewarded speaking Chinese Mandarin in Europe than if you're going to speak German in Europe. It's just natural. You just need to choose what path you want to go. What path you need to follow, because each one is going to give you gratification. German in Europe is going to be infinitely more visible than Mandarin, but that Mandarin is what's going to make you special. it's kind of counterintuitive because one is very practical but not that impressive, and the other one is so impressive but really not that practical in most situations. Of course, Chinese people are all over the world, so if you want to learn Mandarin, go for it. It's probably going to give you more benefits than if you learn Japanese, even though Japanese is also a very cool Asian language, or Indonesian or Hindi, even though Indian people are also Hindi speakers are also spread throughout all of the world. Indonesian people also, Japanese people also, whatever. Each language will give you a benefit, each subject will give you a benefit, but you need to actually keep in mind that the more niche it is, the more irrelevant for you it is, the more impressive you will be for studying it. But the more niche it is, the less practical it is. And the more relevant big it is, the more practical it's going to be for you to learn, but you won't be impressing virtually anybody. Because you could also be seen as a native of that language or someone that just learned that subject at university because they had no other choice. So choose carefully, because both of them give practical, and sometimes with German in Europe, Chinese in China, Chinese in Asia, actually impress people, but they are very different paths with very different endpoints. So just be careful. I'll see you later.